Hey. Um, so this is what I'd call accountability. So as some of you know, I am a chess coach and a chess arbiter. Um, as you don't know, hi, I'm Sasha. Um, I work in England. I'm a national arbiter for the English Chess Federation. Um, and I'm also a level 2 coach for the English Chess Federation. And that puts me in an interesting position because I don't spend an awful lot of time on my own chess. And so I've decided to do that. I've decided to treat myself as a student for the next 20 weeks and see how that goes. So this video is me being accountable to myself and to you. And a little bit of context, I am 32 years old. I started playing chess when I was 8. I taught myself to begin with. My dad printed out a load of stuff off the internet. I read it over a weekend and I went to school next week and played chess to the best of my ability. I eventually got a little bit good at it. Did get opportunities. Didn't win that many tournaments. Won a couple here and there. But I was an alright junior. When I started sort of getting into adult chess, I freaked out. I'll be honest. I was an insecure teenager, as many teenagers are, and I didn't like playing with adults, and that caused me to quit chess, just straight up. I didn't play chess after that. Do a puzzle for visual interest. I've not looked at it yet. So I quit chess. When I went to college, there was a chess club there. They were very excited to have someone who was ostensibly good at chess. So I ended up running the club for a little bit. Not very well, it must be said. I was 17 years old, pretty self-centered. I didn't do a very good job, I'll be honest. But many years later, when I'd got sick of pretending that accountancy was something that can make you money unless you own the firm, I quit. And I sat around going, what am I going to do? So for about 2 months, I just sat around, recovered from what had been a period of management upheaval at my old firm, and it just felt awful. And so I decided I'm just going to teach chess. And I did. Turns out, if you're kind of good at it and you are used to working with kids, or you used to talking to people, that's something you can legitimately do. I'm very good at it. I'm not going to lie. I've seen other people do it, and I'm very good at it. But it is very hard to convince people that you're very good at it when, because you don't spend so much time on your own chess, your own rating is not very good. And that's the situation I'm in, is that my over the board rating is 1550 ECF, which is not very high. It should be a lot higher. To put that into perspective, I haven't lost a game over the board since November last year. I haven't lost a game over the board in 8 months, if not longer. So yeah, there's some evidence that maybe I'm not playing the people that I should be playing. So I'm going to try and work on my chess. I'm going to try and do that. I have some plans. They will evolve as time goes on. I'm giving myself 20 weeks, and we'll see where we get. I'm not actually going to use my over the board rating. The reason being is one of the reasons I struggle to improve my over the board rating is because I'm an arbiter. People ask me to work tournaments, and so I can't play in them. That would be a bit of a conflict of interest, so I can't do that. So I don't play a lot of over the board chess. My over the board rating is not going to be a very good metric for my for seeing if I've improved. I'm going to use my Lee Chess um, rating, which at the moment stands at 1844, if memory serves. So 1844. I'm going to see how I can get that. My plan is to try and get it to 1900 over these 20 weeks. And we'll see how we get on with that. I am determined to do this puzzle. So I bet some of you have been looking at this while I've been talking. I've not really been looking at this because I can't multitask. I'm going to see what I've got. I've got 1, 2, 3 checks. So 1, 2, 3 checks. One of them's a capture, so let's try that one first. So queen takes e8, queen takes e8, and then after that I can't see a continuation. Now knight e7. If rook, okay, so let's try knight e7. If rook takes, we have queen c8, which then you just move back, wouldn't you? I'm not missing something there. Tragic. Oh, I just exchanged off the queens, and then I've got that. I lose the pawn, but I've got my other. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Right. Let's leave that, and I'll talk about what my plan is. So as a framework, I'm going to start with, this is, without any editing, the chessgoals.com study plan. Now I have access to other study plans. I have access to the European Chess Union syllabus for my rating bracket as well. I am going to think about combining them in a way that makes sense. So not only am I working on this, I'm also working on improving my coaching. But I'm going to start with this because one of the main problems I have is I'm not spending much time on my own chess. Sorry, my cat's just come in. Well, one of my cats has just come in. So you can see the Dusty cat. So this is Dusty. She is about 5 years old, maybe 6, we're not sure. She's a lilac tortoiseshell Burmese, and we rescued her. Not from a bad situation, her owner's just with old. Couldn't look after her anymore. But she's a fussy lap cat. So there we go. Back to the plan. These are fairly flexible plans. It's sort of data driven in a way that I like. There's some bits I don't like, but I'll talk you through them. But they understand that everyone is different, and you kind of have to adapt your own study plan. One of the things they said was there are 2 tracks. And one of the things they say, this plan is suitable for adults addicted to studying chess, but don't find the time to play many games. Now, I think that's me being called out, and I'm fine with that. So I'm going to start with week 1. It wants me to play daily chess. Now, I have mixed feelings about daily chess. I don't enjoy correspondence chess. There was a couple of incidents with correspondence chess, and I don't want to get into. The only time I've ever been banned for cheating, it was by accident. Anyway, the first thing it wants me to do is start a study plan post. Now, I'm not going to do that. I hate forums. I don't like it. So I'm not going to do it. What I am going to do instead is this video. Ta-da! So the idea is accountability. The idea is I've got evidence of what I've said in the past that was my plan, and other people can hold me to it. So if in 20 weeks' time you don't hear back from me, drop me a comment. The other thing I have to do is my daily game, which I will do. I'm not so brash and bullish that I'm not going to do it. I'm going to reflect on it. I'm going to do it and I'm going to reflect on it and decide if it was the right thing. Play a 15 plus 10 game. I've already done that this morning. And analyze a 15 plus 10 game. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to make the game I analyze the game I played. There's a couple of reasons for this. One, I don't think immediately after a game is the best time to go through it, because you still have emotions towards that game, particularly if you lost, and that's when a game is most valuable. You have certain feelings about certain moves. So I'm going to analyze a game from last week when I'm doing this. I'm not going to analyze the games that I'm playing. So that's today's work. There's also blitz games to be doing. 5+5. I might play faster games than 5+5. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. And then the woodpecker method. So the woodpecker method is a method of studying tactics. I'm not going to follow that to the letter either. My plan with the woodpecker method is I'm going to not do the woodpecker method. I have a book called the Chess Traveler's Quiz Book, which if Dusty wasn't here, I could go and get. And I'm going to do as many of those as I can in whatever time I have. I'm going to take 32 days to do that. The idea with the woodpecker method is whatever set of puzzles you do in 32 days, you then do the same puzzles across 16 days, then 8 days, then 4 days, 2 days, 1 day. So you're doing the same set of puzzles. The idea being is that you learn to recognize patterns very quickly, and that is what tactics are all about. They are about recognizing patterns very quickly. So, for example, if I did this puzzle here, firstly I spot that we've got a wide open king. That's always worth noting. We've also got the queen and rook on the same open file, and we've also got this here. So I think the most obvious thing to do is to take the queen. I can't see why taking the queen wouldn't be the right answer, but I am still, when you see a good move, look for a better one. I mean, taking the queen is it's a pretty obvious move, isn't it? It's not check though, so black has responses. Black cannot find a check in response because white's king is, in contrast, very, very safe. But yeah, I think that queen is either free. It's free, yeah, because if the king takes back, then we pick up the other rook. So yeah, I think that's the one. There we go. So it is all about patterns. I'm going to go back to talking through the study plan. We've also got this extra credit section. It wants a slow game. Now I am playing a slow game this Saturday. I am playing in the semi-finals of the county championships. So that will be one of my slow games. It says analyze the game, woodpecker method, more woodpecker method. Presumably, I don't really understand this because it doesn't make sense to me to do the woodpecker method all on one day, right? It just makes that puzzle day. I think I'm gonna have a lot more fun doing a little bit of puzzles every day. And I do mean a little bit. I'm not going to go overboard, because one of the main problems people have with the woodpecker method is their whole life becomes puzzles, and that is not a good way to develop your chess, particularly if you play a move before you've really thought it through. Online puzzles often allow you to guess and guess and guess. It's why I like Puzzle Streak, because you don't want to lose this streak. So I've got a streak of 20 here. I'm not going to just play any old check, which is what I see happening quite often, particularly with juniors. They like the puzzles, they want to do the puzzles, they're not really thinking through the puzzles. So, for example, they might just play that or that without thinking about it, without thinking what the consequences will be, because they know that there's no real consequences, except I'm going to lose my streak. So I don't really want to do it. No, I am going to think about both of those because both of those are my checks. Knight g6 check. The king must take on h7. King must take on h7. Then we've got knight f8 double check. So the king must move. You can't block or capture on a double check. So king g6 is not an option. So king has to go back to h8, and then queen h7 is mate. So that's what I'm going for. There we go. Now I could have played rook f8 and messed that up, and if I hadn't had the accountability of that that puzzle streak, maybe I would have done. So you've always got to think through a puzzle. You can't just keep going at it until you get it right. You've got to be able to solve it, because obviously in a real situation, you're not allowed to touch pieces. There we go, a little puzzle tip. So yeah, I don't like this undefined woodpecker method. I'm gonna redefine that. And then opening review, endgame review, statutory review, chess content. Again, vague, really vague. There's no time on that. So I'm going to say to qualify for the extra credit, you have to do half an hour of any of those things. So with that in mind, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to print out my revised study plan, and I've got behind this demo board with no pieces on it, there is a corkboard. I'm going to print that out. I'm going to put it on the corkboard, and in a week's time, I am going to come back and we're going to see how I did. All right. Thank you for joining me. Please hold me to this. I'm going to try and blog about it at spannerlab.wordpress.com. Again, I have ADHD and I'm not very good at committing to things, which is one of the things I should know about myself before I start coaching myself. So I'm going to treat myself as a student. I'm going to have weekly lessons with myself, and this is part of that. So thank you for joining me in this. Hold me to it. Comment if you don't hear back in a week, and certainly comment if you don't hear back in 20 weeks. And I will hopefully see you in a week's time. Bye.